In 1984, a baby was born with teeth into the National Division 1 competition in Cameroon. That team was Cammark Football Club of Bamenda. Cammark Football Club of Bamenda was a star-studded team. For 5 years, it animated the first division competition in Cameroon, emerging one season second on the league table and another season third. Cammark of Bamenda made waves across the nation. We'll take two top stars from the team, Kubu George and Njiki. They will take us on a small tour of Cammark of Bamenda, beginning with Kubu George.
I was in DOP. I played in the third division. We were trying to qualify the team. That's where I have much of my friend when I was in Bamenda before going down to the village. They are the people who saw me play the third division here, and they went and told the supporters, the players who were my friends, they went and told the president that there is a player in DOP. And the phone also was a man from Balikumbat, so it was easy for him to make contact with me. And he came direct to our compound and made me, even my father, and discuss with them. They said I should go to Bamenda. That's when I was recruited in Cammark. That was 1980. I think it was really because Cammark performed. Is that when we played Interpose, that was 1984. By that time, it's not now, because you play 9 matches before you qualify for first division. Because the 10 regions were playing. Inside that 9 matches, you have 3 people to qualify. But when we played the 5th match or 6th, Cammark Bamenda, we was already in first division. Because we would have talented players. People like Tamjo Eric. We have a goalkeeper who is late now, Manga Alabinda, who was our goalkeeper. In fact, we have very good players who helped to bring the team in first division by that time.
While in the National School of Sports, we had wonderful players in St. Adjes of Bamenda, an agglomeration of footballers in the whole republic who at that particular time were students in St. Adjes Bamenda. So when we qualified and went to the Interpose, it was a very, very, very easy walkthrough. We played 10 matches at that time for the 10 provinces, 10 matches, and we came out victorious in all the matches.
Which were your most memorable matches in Cammark?
Yeah, I think for now I can only cite 2 of those matches. Cammark Bamenda versus Racine Bafoussam in Bafoussam, and Cammark Bamenda versus Panther of Bangante in Bangante. That was the first year that Cammark Bamenda ascended into the first division, and we were threatened with relegation. Those 2 matches we won with identical scores of 2-0, all goals scored by me. And all teams were teams from the West Province.
When do you think Cammark Bamenda performed the best when you were there?
Yeah, I can, if my memory does not fail me, in 1987 and 1988, we emerged as second champions in Cameroon, behind Union Douala in 1987, and again behind Canon of Yaoundé in 1988.
Yeah, I have so many matches who were good because match against Racine Bafoussam, Union Douala, in those days, Canon Yaoundé. There was also a team in Douala called Rai Douala. They were all in first division at that time, so some of them have gone down to second division. Those are the teams where I play, where I enjoy the matches I play against those teams, because they were good teams. And the players around me, my own players, like Tabi Kassara, our goalkeeper, Douala Philip, Ojon Castro, you have Mokoko in the midfield, Fuda. Those were players who make us to be proud in this town.
Who was your club president and how did he relate with players and other management staff?
Yeah, the son of Balikumbat Fondo Guanyi, he was the president general of Cammark Bamenda, even the one who recruited me. He was a good man, but when it comes to finances, it was not really good. The player always, all of us, not only me, all of us always complain when there is money issue. But with us, we don't take that. When we want to go and play, we keep all those things behind. We focus to the football because we are there to play. At that time, we were even happy to play with that money. It's not today that children, in their young age, they will sign millions everywhere in teams in Cameroon. But at our own time, we were happy to play.
Yeah, my president at that time was Honorable Fon Dong Gangwai III. Somebody with leadership qualities, somebody with enormous managerial skills in as much as football is concerned. I think at that time we could only cite the president of Cammark Bamenda, the president of Babuto Sobunda Fofie, the late Fayez of Peter Kumba, and Zunjan Claude of Diamant of Yaoundé. The relationship between the fund, who at that time was the president, and the players and the executive was very, very cordial. First of all, he was fond of the Norwest, and you know how the people of Norwest respect their chief. So the relationship was very, very cordial.
How did the population treat the team, especially when people had matches?
We had a rivalry in Bamenda because PWD Bamenda was the home team. So when Cammark Bamenda came up, we had a lot of rivalry from the home population. But we had die-hard supporters of Cammark who stood by our sides.
How did Cammark relate with PWD Bamenda at the time?
I want to be very open to you. Out of the field, there was no problem among the players. We had deep-seated love for the players. But on the field of play, because of that rivalry, there was an act enmity between Cammark Bamenda and PWD.
In the seafood tournament in 1989, how did you people participate? What was the outcome?
In 1989, there was this competition named the Seafood Competition. It was an initiative. It was the initiative of Njolea, who was an international lawyer in France. At that time, was the father of Njolea, the former footballer. He came up with 4 teams: Laval, Lille, and 2 other teams. And Cammark Bamenda, Canon Yaoundé, and 2 other teams were selected to play that tournament. So for the first match, we won Laval by 2-0. And it was during that competition that Oman Biik and Kunde were selected to play for Laval. We played only 1 match and we won. The president for Dongangwai gave certain conditions for Cammark to continue. And those conditions were not met. And Jolea decided that Dynamo of Douala will have to replace Cammark Bamenda.
Can you tell us what led to the change of management from Do, which was your former president, to Mr. Angafo?
All the supporters of Cammark Bamenda needed a change. And even all the players were, the president Fondo has tried his own best. It was time to give chance to another person to continue.
How did Cammark descend to Division 2?
When this position came up, I personally, I was in the camp supporting the fund. So when AC Ngafo, who was the proprietor of Nacho, took over the team, we were forced to leave. Some of us who were die-hard supporters of the fund were forced to leave Cammark Bamenda and we went to PW Bamenda. And that same year, the team dropped to the second division.
Why in Cammark did you have any instinct with the national team?
Yeah, before coming to Cammark, when I was still in Dock, I used to see people like Roger Miller play, Audu Ibrahim, Toman Kono and the rest. I was thinking one day I would be there in that position also. That was inspiring me when I was coming to Cammark. And I think I tried. When I arrived here, that was 1981. I started playing until we go to Interpol and come back. That was already in 84. The very year we came back from Interpol, I was called up in the national team. I think I have about 2 selections with Cammark Bamenda before moving to Rasem Bavusam. And after I went to Bavusam, they were still calling me in the national team by then. That was 1990.
In 1987, I was called up. But that time it was the junior national team. I think I was one of the few Anglophones. There were 2 of us there in Divaken who were called up to the national team, junior national team. Omam Kana, Burokinumbu, Asimba, and the rest. We had to play many matches. But finally, when a selection was made to go to Brazil for some kind of stage for 40 days, some of us were left out.
You know, after all this experience, can you tell us what you think about football in Cameroon in general?
Yeah, I think football in Cameroon for now is based on money. We're playing for the love of the game, for the devotion of that darling sport, football. But they realize that the young players now, they prioritize money to the love of the nation, to patriotism. They play football for money.
And what can be your advice to any lover of sports and football in particular out there?
Yeah, my advice is that let us put the love of the game as a passion in front, and money should be relegated to the background. It will come, but for now, let us put the passion in front.
And some experiences that you had being a footballer.
I think I will not always talk about Cammark here, because even in PW I played also. Even Kubu Strikers, I played there for a year. But I think I played for Rasem Bavusam when we even reached up to playing the final of the Cup of Cameroon. We lost against Tonnerre. That was in 1992. Yes. Tonnerre beat us in Yaoundé. I think it was 2-1. So I think that was one of my greatest achievements, to reach at the semi-final, at the final of the Cup of Cameroon in front of the President of the Republic.
What can be your advice to any lover of sports and football in particular out there?
Yeah, my advice is that let us put the love of the game as a passion in front, and money should be relegated to the background. It will come, but for now, let us put the passion in front.